Hi there, I'm Iona Gilbertson-Hart, and I'm just going to be sharing my notes of Cynthia Erivo's Dracula, which I saw today and will be re-seeing in a few weeks' time. It's more my notes than a review because, firstly, here's the thing, I suppose it is a review in a way, but whenever I watch theatre reviews, typically, it normally involves them going, here are notes. And while I'm completely here for saying here are notes, I feel a bit dishonest going, for example, okay, if Cynthia Erivo really, if she did something and I had a note on it, for example, I can't think of anything because I don't really have, this is no, but then I'm kind of going against myself. If she did something like kneel down and I thought she should have stood up and I was like, here's an idea, I think I'd feel quite dishonest saying that on the internet but not saying it to her, because I've kind of, if I said to her, I don't know her personally yet, I feel like you maybe should have stood up, then that's that's quite it's quite a nice interaction. But if I don't give her any notice of it and then I just go and broadcast on the internet, Cynthia Erivo should have stood up, I feel like that's a bit dishonest and not very good of me. So yeah, so I wanted to become a theatre reviewer, but now I've kind of discovered I'm thinking about it, and I don't want to be like anyone was terrible. I mean, I haven't had to do this, but I don't want to be like anyone was terrible. I don't really. So it's mainly more like the plus points of the production. I don't know. Anyway, but it was great. So that it's not necessary for this production for me to give it any minus points. But anyway, this is the programme, Cynthia Erivo in Dracula by Bram Stoker and directed by Kip Williams. And these are just my thoughts. It was amazing. Okay, I would give it 5 out of 5 because it was just insane, right? So if you're going to go, I remember in 2024, me definitely, I don't know about everyone else, but I was obsessed with the Challenger cinematography. I was like, cinematography? Guy, this is insane. This, essentially, spoiler alert, I didn't realise how many characters Cynthia Erivo was going to be playing on the screen. And it was quite a lot. I think she played, I don't know, maybe 10 in person. Because it's 23 roles, 13 on screen. Now I'm thinking about it, I can't think of 23 characters that she played. But it was insane. And I was thinking about, basically for the set there was a load of little highlighty, the things that they use on stage to place the set, and there were so many of those and it was so confusing and overstimulating to look at. But also, because she's the only one on stage at all times, she's often got to have an eye line because she's talking to someone, and most actors, when they're being convincing, will have an eye line. She had no eye line, and this was wild to me because also she had to remember where everyone was, because sometimes she'd be in a scene with 5 people, all of them played by herself, and also there was a screen on the back and she had to place herself perfectly, because if she moved a little bit to the side, she'd be stood in front of herself and blocking herself and her performance. I don't know how it worked with all the filming, maybe, but also as in maybe they'd have been put in front of her, but also it's just the level of technicality to have 2 people stood there and look like they're both there. Sometimes I'd watch the screen and then I'd look at the stage and I'd be like, wait, where did Cynthia number 2 go? She wasn't there. She's always on the screen. That was wild. One thing about the screens is that I was sat right at the top because tickets are hella expensive. And so we had TVs up here because we couldn't see the TV on the stage properly. And my TV seemed to be more black and white than the one on the stage. I don't know, the colour quality wasn't so good. So I found myself trying to look at the stage one quite a bit and then just colour in the TV that I was looking at, or just look at Cynthia. But yeah, that was just a point. It was slightly, it wasn't terrible, but a small notice that I'd have rather had my TV in colour, please. It was in colour, but the colours weren't really colouring. Okay, that's kind of, I don't know if that made sense there. She had a whole load of accents, and I really want to commend Cynthia as well, because to be able to do that many accents, but then to switch so seamlessly, but then also to remember each character, because she's just yapping there for like 90 minutes, and to remember, this is the character, this is the characterization, this is the accent. It's hard. So you go, girl. Also, she has such a presence on the stage, which I really love. You can see her muscles, girls be working out, clock it. You can see she's muscular, and that makes her really present. Well, I mean, I think she'd have a strong presence anyway, but it just adds to it because you're like, whoa. And it's amazing. I'm just glazing Cynthia Erivo, but like, what else is there to do? You can't really do anything else. No notes for Cynthia Erivo, apart from, I feel at certain points I found it slightly hard to hear her, but I think that was more of a music thing than her, and I think it was once that it happened. Also, disclaimer, if you are going, she talks really quickly, so just, it took me a few minutes to warm up to the pace, because when she starts talking at the beginning, you're a bit just like, jump scare, whoa, she's yapping away, but it's all fine if you want to like catch up to it. It's like Shakespeare, you know, once you like get into the rhythm and you're like there. Let me just think. I also wanted to commend her because I think I saw her drink water 3 times. It was probably more, because that's all that I saw. However, she was on stage for most of the 90 minutes, apart from when she went backstage. But she was being filmed back there, so you know. So, girl, she was just talking for that long, and I had no idea how she survived without water. You could tell she was a singer, because that breath quality, it was heck yeah. And she sung. I saw Cynthia Erivo sing in the flesh. I'm practically Ariana Grande at this point in Wicked, because I saw Cynthia Erivo sing in the flesh, and there's only one other person who's done that, and that's Ariana Grande, obviously. And then one thing that I did have is one of the characters, the dude, I'm not completely that knowledgeable of the source material, so I feel a bit like a false person making this review when I don't fully know the source material. But the guy who goes to the Dracula castle, and then, spoiler, essentially he's like, and now I'm going to climb down this wall to leave the castle, and then suddenly he's back in London. Except because it was such a big thing of him climbing down the wall, he never actually climbed down the wall, because, you know, it'd be kind of hard to climb Cynthia down that wall. Also, maybe it just wasn't in the script, I don't know. I was kind of confused. I thought that was 2 characters. Because one minute he was like, my God, I'm in Dracula's house and he's just killing everyone, and I got to climb out this wall, am I going to die? I was like, oh my goodness. And then he was just chilling in London. And I was like, hold on. I thought it was 2 different people until the very end, and I was like, hey. Because, you know, the costuming was very good, but, you know, sometimes you can't rely on them to have changed the costumes, so I don't know, I thought that was 2 people. Do I have any other thoughts? It was insane. I loved her. Fangs. Brilliant. She's just a powerhouse. She is just insane. Oh yeah, kudos to all the stagehands, you know, the people filming her and changing her and all that, because sometimes there were like 10 of them just hanging out on the stage, and you could see them, but because of Cynthia's acting and their blending in and everything being amazing, you like didn't clock them, you know, you weren't looking at them, you weren't focusing on them. It was insane. So well done everyone involved. Also, I think this is my final point. I kind of thought it was like Jamie Lloyd on steroids in a way, because, you know, Jamie Lloyd's quite well known for his stripped back set camera work vibes. And I think the set was fairly stripped back. There was like 4 or 5 sets mainly. The set was impressive, okay? They rolled on this like circular white room. That was insane. They built a graveyard. The set was impressive, guys. Go for the set alone. And the way they were operating it and moving in and out of it and filming her in it, and also just the amount of skill and precision that went between like flipping the cameras, because sometimes there'd be 3 on her at once, you know, getting all the angles, and they'd be just like flipping between them. But yeah, because that, I did just think about that, because, you know, everyone's always like, Jamie Lloyd, you know, he's gonna whip out a camera, and I was like, everyone's like, he's so revolutionary. So yeah, everyone's always saying, I did just cough, so maybe I kind of look like I'm about to cry. I'm sorry about that. I'm not really emotional. Everyone's always saying Jamie Lloyd is very revolutionary, and he is. And I was like, heck yeah. Sometimes Jamie Lloyd whips out a camera and it's like, whoa. Bro, there were like 5 cameras on stage sometimes. There was the backdrop. There was also like 5 characters just on the screen. Camera work, cinematography, it ate down. It was so good. And all the people operating them, shout out, because they were amazing. Well, these people. Well, there were more. But yeah, heck yeah. So those were just my thoughts. I'm sorry, I probably did just say a whole lot of nothing. But I don't know, I'm no Mickey Joe, but we can all aspire. And so yeah, thank you for watching my thoughts, because I don't think it was really a review. Go and see Dracula. It's good. And Queen Cynthia, you need to see her, okay? You need to see her. Like, I'd watch her just sit on a stage and breathe for 2 hours, so you'd hope she'd be breathing, actually. Hey, Romeo and Juliet, that's nice. Matching my... Okay, right. Thank you for watching. Bye.